welcome to Health Styles Market. My name is Arlys, and we're going to finish up the highly sensitive person. Today's video is video number 6. We're going to talk about how to learn how to thrive with this trait. If you remember, we have 100 people and only up to 20% are highly sensitive people. But this trait affects every area of your life. So we've been talking about Arthur and his sister and using different examples in the last 5 segments. And we learned about a lot of different areas specific for Arthur that were a struggle for him. And it took joy out of his little life and out of his daily routines. And so Mom and Dad got the book about highly sensitive people, and they read it, and so they made more effort to understand Arthur and his feelings and what they could do to help him acclimate to his surroundings and to his situations so he could have more joy in his life and learn how to use this trait for good. So I like to think of it as, how do we learn to thrive? If we're a highly sensitive person, we still have to do daily life and school and work and family and occasions, and we can't just sit in a bubble at home all the time. So first we're going to talk about some of the gifts of highly sensitive people, and then we're going to talk more about what highly sensitive people need in their life in order to thrive. So some of the gifts of this isn't by any means a complete list. It's just some of the maybe more common gifts that highly sensitive people have. So they often have great creativity, they have insight, passion, caring, compassionate, empathetic, supportive, very interested in ideas. They're deep thinkers. They have a deep spiritual life. They have considerate behavior, highly conscientious, they're loyal, they're good with details, they're thoughtful of the needs of others, they're visionaries. They're intuitive. They have a very strong 6th sense. They need time to reflect. They are carefully processing information. They feel physical pain more deeply, and they turn inward. Like those machines that grade fruit by size, highly sensitive people sort into 10 sizes, while others sort into 2 or 3. Highly sensitive people reflect more on everything and sort things into finer distinctions. Highly sensitive people do take in a lot, all of the subtleties in a situation that others miss. But what seems ordinary to others, like loud music or large crowds, can be high stimulation, and thus that could be stressful for highly sensitive people. More people ignore sirens, glaring lights, strange colors, strange odors, clutter, chaos. But highly sensitive people are distracted, disturbed, or perhaps distressed by those same things. Most people's feet may be tired at the end of a day in a mall or a museum, but they're ready for more if someone suggests an evening party. Yeah, let's go for it. But a highly sensitive person needs solitude after such a day. They feel jangled and over-aroused. Most people walk into a room and perhaps notice the furniture, the people. That's about it. But a highly sensitive person can be instantly aware, whether they wish to be or not, of the mood, the friendships, the enemies, the freshness or staleness of the air, the personality of the one who arranged the flowers. That's pretty detailed. So you can see that even what would be like a normal, common experience can be completely different for the highly sensitive person versus the non-highly sensitive person. So if you remember, back in the beginning of this series, I described a highly sensitive person as someone that has a high IQ, a sensitive soul, and a too thin veil. And so when we're dealing with our child that is a highly sensitive person, we're working to make the child aware of the thin veil and what they can do by choice by actions, by thinking ahead to protect themselves in that situation or with those people, or there's all kinds of possibilities for how they would feel, but we're trying to teach them to be aware. How do I strengthen my veil so I feel protected in this situation? So here's 22 things that you can do to either help yourself as a highly sensitive person to thrive, or help your child or someone close to you that you know or they are aware they're a highly sensitive person. So what are things they can be made aware of, or you can help them, support them to adapt to these situations, choices they can make to increase their veil, feel more protected, and feel safer. Highly sensitive people need balance in their life. That's number one. So our little comment is get to know yourself so you can quickly recognize that you are over-aroused or overstimulated. Have a plan in place so you can either prevent this from happening or a plan about how to tactfully remove yourself. I notice this in my family members that are highly sensitive, and the louder the crowd, the longer the party lasts, the event, and you can just see them, they're kind of just wilting. And so there's a lot of ways to say thank you, we got to run, thank you, we're headed home, it was lovely. I mean, you can teach yourself or your special highly sensitive person ways that they can get out of that situation, extract, it's time to leave, it's time to go home. I have a video of a highly sensitive person, and she's a famous author, so she's often called on to speak at a public situation, present a seminar, and through the years, she has learned how to be able to do that. But if she's focused on that, she often can't tune into her own physical needs. So her husband lovingly cares for her in these situations. So she's there with her PowerPoint or her notes or her handouts or her books, does this presentation, but he knows that at the meet and greet afterwards, she's not going to last very long. She's already poured out everything she has to pour out for the seminar. So where does the balance come in? He's learned to step up. And so he watches her, brings her something to drink, checks in on her, and she's busy gabbing, and people are continuing to ask her questions. They want more. She's pouring out. And so pretty soon he'll slide by and say, honey, we need to go. We need to leave in about 15 minutes. And she's kind of distracted and like, oh, okay. And that doesn't register for her. She's completely involved in this after party. So he comes by in 10 minutes, comes by in 5 minutes, and then he just comes by and he has her coat. He'd gone to the coat check, got her coat, got his, and he's just like, okay, we got to leave. Sorry, says goodbye for her and helps kind of shepherd her out the door. And he knows that she's poured out so much that she literally has nothing left to pour out. And so he gets her in the car, he buckles her seatbelt, and she's just spent. She's exhausted. But he knows that's how she's going to be. He's not trying to engage her in conversation. He's just driving her safely home and tries to get her headed to bed as soon as they get home. It was a big evening, and she poured out everything she had. The next day, she's happy to rehash the event and everything about it because she's been able to rest and recharge, regain her strength. And it isn't that she has bad health, it's just that she poured out everything from here to the crowd. And so that is a little something he can do as a loving action to be supportive of her. It's something she really needs, and it's greatly appreciated. So that's a dramatic example, but it's like we can be aware of that in someone we love and being supportive and helpful for them. And maybe they try to create balance. You'd call that like a work-life balance. And maybe they're trying, but that's a big occasion. It's not like it happens every week or anything like that. But it's somewhere where he can really be supportive and helpful for her. We can do that in small ways, taking our child to a birthday party, taking our spouse to an occasion. If she's a highly sensitive person, there's things we can do to be supportive. And we're not ragging on them and saying, are you ready to go yet? It's not that. It's that we're just helping facilitate the process of moving forward to the, like, it's time to go home kind of thing. Number 2 is boundaries. We want to learn to say no to what is not best for us and yes to what works best for us. So that means we want to have some reflective time to figure it out. We want to be aware. We want to be thinking about it. And we want to have boundaries. What's interesting to me is I've noticed through the years that even my littlest highly sensitive children seem to be very aware of what they like and what they don't like. And they make the judgment really pretty fast. They're not quandering back and forth unless somebody has guilted them or pressed or pushed something on them. But they seem pretty clear. And I know some littles in my life, and what was a no for him at, like, say, age 4, is still a no for him at age 11 and a half. And that's fascinating to me. Like, these are little people, highly sensitive people really commonly know their own heart. And if they're given the environment to be true to themselves and say no to what they don't like, aren't comfortable, that maybe they don't even know why it's not best, they just know that's not best. But they're also very clear on what is best, what works best for them. And it's really fascinating to me. But we as a support person want to encourage them, say no to what's not best, say yes to what is best. Highly sensitive people need number 3. They need plenty of downtime. So, written to the individual, give yourself unscheduled time to do things you enjoy or to rest and relax. This also helps you to recharge your battery. Number 4, daily alone time. Highly sensitive people need processing time. Time to just think about things and process and review them. And you'd be amazed at what comes to you if you'll make the time and kind of commit to it, that all of a sudden you just have a greater awareness of a stress in your life or a situation or something that's coming up that you can prepare for. But you've most often figured that out by giving yourself processing time. Number 5 is rest. Listen to your body and start your evening bedtime routine before you get too sleepy to properly prepare for your bedtime and learn how to get enough sleep. So whereas many adults would find that maybe they would do fine with 7 hours of sleep, often highly sensitive people need 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5. I have some highly sensitive people that need 10 hours. Is there something wrong with them? No, but that's when their brain finally calms down and they get that deep, restful sleep, and it makes all the difference the next day. So learn how to get enough sleep. 6, highly sensitive people do best with clear communication, especially with the people who you are close to in your daily lives, your spouse, significant other, family, friends, colleagues, etc. And how I would describe this is, if you're not sure, gently communicate again. If you haven't gotten a response from the other person and you need that, whether it's a yes or a no or a confirmation, clear communication just keeps the air clear. And it makes everybody more relaxed. Number 7, highly sensitive people need relationships that strike the balance of giving to others and giving to yourself. Now, for a highly sensitive person, that's a real high necessity. But you'll find that as you become more aware of what you need and giving yourself that, you'll realize you have people in your life, especially family, older or younger, who haven't learned this balance. And so you can be supportive and encouraging to them on how to give to themselves and how to give to others. Number 8 is something a highly sensitive person needs to thrive. They need time to step away from ordinary things and add some additional self-care. So often, the daily grind grinds them down more than the average person, and they can make time to add some music if they love to clean. What's interesting about these little suggestions is they're all things that can be done alone. So prayer, meditation, cooking, housework, cleaning, music, like those are all things that can have a very quieting, restful effect on a highly sensitive person. And they find that if they make time for it, they enjoy it, and it's kind of a de-stress for them. Number 9 is spend time in nature. And whether you're having a cup of coffee on the back deck in the morning sunshine, and that helps turn on that vitamin D button and get you woke up and ready for the day. Spending time in nature in the weekends, hikes after work, if it's summertime and you still have sunlight and you go out and do something you love to do with your family or spouse in nature, and it really does something for a highly sensitive person. It does for everyone, but the highly sensitive person just might be more aware or more responsive to it. 10, find and enjoy water. This is something that really works for a lot of highly sensitive people to thrive. Outdoors, it's rain and lakes and oceans and rivers, but inside and internally is staying hydrated internally. So what's the latest rule for how much purified water to drink? It's half as many ounces as what you weigh, as your body weight. So using that as an example, if we had a 200-pound person consistently drinking 100 ounces a day of purified water really helps their whole little body work better. Thinking about it as a machine, your machine needs fluid, it needs water. Now this is in addition to, we're talking about water, and ounces of water. This is in addition to drinking milk, to drinking coffee, to doing broths or soups. This is how much water your body will thrive if you get half as many ounces as what your body weight is. So then we move into number 11 of things that a highly sensitive person needs to thrive. Highly sensitive people do best with some independence as they abhor feeling trapped. And so number 11 for them is establish independence and a strong sense of self and identity. You can really see that in a toddler. The more you encourage them, and even maybe the more you expect of them, the more they'll give, the more they'll produce. And it's good for them. But any age, we need to establish independence and a strong sense of self and identity. Number 12, take timeouts from heated or emotional interactions. It's easy to feel over-aroused or overwhelmed, so try postpone. Okay, number 15, accept the loneliness that many non-highly sensitive people identify with sensitive people. This is often misunderstood by others, but alone time is your time to recharge your batteries. And so you want to be true to that. If you are a go, 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 or you feel pushed to be a go-go, it's not going to be long, and you're just going to kind of fade or crash. Either one. I wouldn't think of it as loneliness. I would think about it as you are a productive person with your alone time. You need time to transition from activity to activity. You need time to transition at bedtime. You need time to transition into your day in the morning. And you need a lot of processing time. And so often, Highly sensitive people are viewed as that, wow, they must be really lonely. They must not have a lot of friends. But that's really not true. But they do have a deep inner life often, and so they need alone time to be able to process for themselves and get things figured out and to recharge their batteries. Number 16, discover and seek out areas that feel like sanctuaries for yourself. Your own home, your car, a library, a park, a friend, or a family member's home. And it's certainly not limited to that. Whenever I go to the library, I'm aware, I look around and I think, I wonder how many of these people are highly sensitive. And they're in there and they kind of have a quiet smile. They may not know anybody else in the library. And you can just tell they feel calm and quiet. It's required that you be quiet at a library. And I thought, I wonder how many people are highly sensitive, because this is a really neat atmosphere for them. It's like a sanctuary. Number 17, experience new things. Positive new events help to build your self-esteem and your self-confidence and show to you what you're truly capable of. Sometimes trying new things can be stressful, but at other times, it might be just the thing you need to increase your self-confidence. Number 18, simple is best. Too much of anything can drain the highly sensitive person's energy and ability to think and concentrate. Stuff, clutter, noise, or an extremely busy surrounding can leave a highly sensitive person unable to perform at their best. So this is not a joke, but it kind of is for us. In our family, we have a little phrase that, oop, you're making that into a pretzel. Oh, that situation has become a pretzel. And I help that family member kind of deconstruct, and it helped me to become aware when a situation is becoming a pretzel, meaning it's too intertwined, it's too crazy, it's too stressful, it's too much. And it's time to either unwind it, backtrack it, eliminate things, kind of chop off the edges, square it up, or maybe it's not the right thing for the highly sensitive person. So you want to be aware, and when it starts to feel way too complex, way too stressful, way too complicated, look at your own pretzel and figure out, what do I need to do to change this so I can simplify it, or maybe I need to excuse myself from it completely. Number 19 is find and make time for a creative outlet in your life. Highly sensitive people are very creative often, and maybe because of old family patterns or old habits, they're not using those talents and gifts. How to add creative things to your own life, music, something artistic, and or be creative in whatever medium you enjoy most. And so there isn't anything wrong or anything right about that. You want it to be something that stimulates your imagination and your ability to use your creative abilities in whatever you choose. So we think of them commonly as hobbies. Highly sensitive people do really well adding hobbies to their lives. Number 20, share your gifts with the world. Just acknowledge and know that you have something amazing to offer the world around you. And it's very rewarding and satisfying when we share our gifts with the world. Number 21, find and make time for relationships and friendships with other highly sensitive people. It's so nice to share on a deeper level and be a support for each other. There's something about a highly sensitive person when you share something that's painful or difficult or a struggle or a stress you're having, and they can say, I know, I get it. I have whatever. And you can be a support for each other, but there's a wonderful feeling when somebody gets you and they understand. And number 22 is learn to reset yourself. Closing your eyes and taking slow, deep breaths can reset you completely. Calm your mind, calm your body, calm your emotions, and help you get reset. That's something everyone can do. We can do it anywhere, anytime. And pretend you're driving and it's a stressful trip. At the next stop sign, you can stop, close your eyes, and take slow, deep breaths. So as we learn to develop these different habits, you want to take this list, which Crystal will post. And so when you look at that different list, you want to circle or highlight the ones that you can implement like really soon, today, tonight, tomorrow. And you can't do them all at once, but as you create habits and incorporate those into your schedule, you're going to start to notice that it helps you thrive with the gifts you have. It's focusing on your gifts and then how to use those to help you thrive. Highly sensitive people have superpowers, and this list helps explain how you create superpowers. We're not in competition with anyone else in your life, but you want to learn how to thrive so that you can make the most of the person you are. So there's a little list, the highly sensitive person's 5 to thrive. So number 1 is to just believe that the trait you have is real. 2, design a life that's compatible with it. 3, reframe the past in light of it. 4, to heal from past trauma, and also to prevent new trauma from happening going forward. And 5 is to know other highly sensitive people. It's a gift to have a highly sensitive friend, a real gift. And we want to use that and do that. It's good for us and it's good for them. So the other thing we want to do is talk about how to prepare for situations that have always stressed you out in the past. And we want to think about them in advance. You want to plan and prepare for them, and do all you can to prevent the stress and to make it so it's enjoyable for you. So instead of moving forward, I'm going to let that be the next video on this series, and we're going to say goodbye for today and let this be all for now. Thank you for listening and sharing about video number 6 on the highly sensitive person segment, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.